Well, for more on Bolsonaro's conviction and what it means for Brazil, joining me from Brasilia is Gustavo Ribeiro. He's the founder and editor-in-chief of the Brazilian Report. Gustavo, welcome to the program. I think the big question is, what happens now?
Thanks for having me. So as we speak, the 5 Supreme Court justices who are tasked with trying this case are discussing sentencing. And one of the defendants has already gotten just 2 years because he collaborated with the prosecution. And now justices are discussing which sentence to give Jair Bolsonaro, who was convicted of 5 crimes, 5 sedition-related crimes. And the rapporteur of this case asked for him to get 27 years and 3 months. He got a reduction in sentence because of his age. He's 70 years old, but now the other justices are weighing on whether to follow this recommendation or to recommend a lighter or a tougher sentence.
So what happens in terms of the punishment or the sentence, if you will, for Bolsonaro? Will we know that sentence today, or do we have to wait a few more days?
Well, I think within the next few hours, we'll know that for sure, because like I said, they are, as we speak, they are discussing the sentence.
And what kind of punishment will Bolsonaro get? I mean, will he get the maximum 43 years? What's the expectation there?
So the rapporteur asked for 27 years and 3 months, and now probably that's what's going to be the final sentence, because the other justices tend to agree with the rapporteur. Now, what it is unclear is whether he will have to serve time in prison, under house arrest, or in a federal police facility.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting to see, because he's already under house arrest. Gustavo, Donald Trump, while on the White House lawn, was asked about the Supreme Court decision about Bolsonaro. And let's just take a listen to what he had to say.
Well, I watched that trial. I know him pretty well. Foreign leader. I thought he was a good president of Brazil. And it's very surprising that that could happen. That's very much like they tried to do with me, but they didn't get away with it.
Bolsonaro has always been compared to Donald Trump for his rhetoric and his stance on many issues, and has imposed a staggering 50% tariffs on Brazil, sort of interjecting himself into Brazilian politics. Is there a sense there that he could increase those tariffs even more now?
Well, these tariffs are already a sort of de facto embargo for many industries. But what the Brazilian government is bracing for is whether Trump decides to up sanctions and target justices individually. The rapporteur of this case has already been placed under the specially designated list. So Alexandre de Moraes, the Brazilian justice, has been all but excluded from the financial system, from the international financial system. He can no longer have assets in dollars or have any business whatsoever with U.S. citizens or companies. And there is an expectation that the U.S. could levy similar sanctions against the 4 justices who voted for Bolsonaro's conviction today. And it is interesting that Trump compared the Bolsonaro trial with what happened to him, because one of the justices said that in the U.S. case, there was pardon, but there was no pacification. And she cited Charlie Kirk's assassination yesterday as proof that amnesty does not pacify a country.
Wow. And finally, Gustavo, chances of appeal for Bolsonaro or his lawyers. I mean, is this it for Bolsonaro? Does he have a good chance of appealing?
Well, that's pretty much it, because of how the Brazilian system works. Being tried at the Supreme Court already limits your avenues for appeal. He can have some moves to delay the beginning of the enforcement of the sentence, but a conviction will not be overturned at this point.
All right, we'll leave it there. Gustavo Ribeiro, thank you very much.